Hello again. I've not even edited the last video yet, so I'm getting cracking on and I'm going to make this video that I've promised about mixing your own liquid. Why should you mix your own liquid? Well, profit. Where you buy it from, they've got to make a profit. That's when you buy the pre-made stuff. Taste. You don't quite like the taste, it's not quite to your requirements. Strength. You're stuck with the strength. Availability. Whatever they've got on the shelf, going out to them. You may have to go out your way. Mixing it yourself, you can tailor the flavour for what you want. Let's say you want a tobacco flavour with a hint of custard, or you like a bit of nutmeg in it, or you prefer to have, let's just say, a cherry bakewell with a hint of apple. You can mix it to whatever you want. Your strength, you can again mix it to whatever you want. So I have a friend that he was a heavy smoker. He went over to vaping and he started off on shop bought liquids, which was 70% PG and 30% VG. So he was getting quite a harsh, very strong flavoured liquid. I suggested to him that I'll mix him some for whatever flavour he wants and strength. Subsequently, he went over to blackcurrant from strawberry. I really loved it. He then slowly went down in his nicotine content to a 0 nicotine. He then has stopped vaping altogether. So for him, it's been an easy progression from the stinky fags, cigarettes, to not smoking and vaping at all. So people get into vaping for whatever reason they want. Personally, I did it to stop smoking, but I still like my nicotine. And he is quite happy with that. So what you're going to need to mix your own fluid? Well, I've got a right shopping list here. I can't fit them all on camera, so I'm going to pull them up individually. And then when we get down below, because I'll actually show you mixing it, I'm going to have the bottles off camera. So first of all, they come in various sizes. You're going to need a bottle of propylene glycol, your PG. You're going to need some glycerin. Now there is two types of vegetable glycerin. There's standard VG and there's AVG, aqueous vegetable glycerin. The only difference is it's watered down slightly with water. It's thinned down slightly thinner because VG is very thick. So if you buy VG, dilute it with 15% deionized or distilled water to 85% VG. That's if you're going to thin it down yourself. If not, get some aqueous vegetable glycerin. There is various suppliers out there that sell it. I'm not going to mention any one particular supplier because I get it from all different suppliers. It's very easy to get hold of on the internet. if you're going to dilute it yourself, be very careful. Along with mixing anything of this, be very careful of what you're doing. Think about it. You're going to be vaping this, it's going to be going in your body, in your lungs, so be very careful. So we've got our PG, our VG. What else are we going to need? You're going to need a flavour concentrate. Now they come in various sizes. I've not got one to hand as yet. Come in various sizes from 5 millilitres, that's a 30 milliliter. Depending on the supplier, depends what size you get. The more you get, the cheaper it is. But if you buy a flavour, think, oh, I'll get 30 mils. It's only £6. And then you find out you don't like it. You've got 30 mils that you're not going to use. So try the smaller ones first, then go for the bigger ones. I mix it for friends who they do like the flavour, so I get it in larger bottles. This one is actually skunk. Doesn't taste like skunk, for what I've been told. It's quite a floral vape. You don't get anything off it. If you got any of the THC, that will be illegal. So it's only flavouring. It's food flavouring at the end of the day. So get small quantities. So we've got our PG, VG flavouring. Most important is the nicotine. Is nicotine dangerous? Depends who you speak to. I recently heard a radio interview with Fraser Cooper from Totally Wicked. He is a very good chap. He's the only person that's challenging Article 20 of the Tobacco Products Directive. If you've not already signed the petition, please search Article 20. Sign the petition. It is going to kill the community, the vaping community, certainly in Europe. If everybody can sign it, we're going to have an easier life. If not, you're going to see the end of vaping. But this particular radio interview, he had a person from the BMA. For those of you who are not in the UK, the BMA is the British Medical Association. This expert said that 1 drop of that on a child is enough to kill the child. When challenged by Mr. Cooper from Totally Wicked, of prove it, the person from the BMA, as all politicians do, scooted around it and avoid it. Let's just say he never answered the question. He never backed up his statement. So whether you believe that is deadly or not, it's up to you. I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it isn't, but it's not good for you. It's nicotine. If you take anything in a large enough quantity, you will overdose. Just look at alcohol, caffeine. We all know what caffeine overdose is like. Apparently. And so, yes, be careful with it. Treat it with respect. That is the last thing that you're going to put in. Keep it away from the children. As with anything, that you're not happy about, keep them away from children. If you don't want them playing with it, don't let them touch it. But still, as a precaution, use gloves, use a sterile area, an area that you're going to be able to wipe down if you get any spillages. Don't be making it on your dining room table without protection. A piece of perspex, piece of glass, something on top. Don't let it just soak in. Anyway, I digress. Your nicotine, you can get it in two forms: PG based and VG based, just like your dilutants. This one is a VG, so that'll add to the total quantity of VG that I'm putting in. This mix I'm going to mix is a 50-50, so it's going to have 50% PG, 50% VG. Strength wise, you can get it in 3 different strengths, as I'm aware of: 36, 54 and 72 milligrams. Now if you get the 72 milligrams, it's going to cost you a lot more, but you're going to thin it down a lot more, so it's going to last you longer. The more that you buy, the cheaper it's going to be per milliliter. Obviously if you buy 200 millilitres, it's going to cost you just under twice as much as 100 millilitres, but per milliliter it costs you less. That is your wet ingredients. We now need to mix it with something, and we're also going to need something to mix it in. 10ml bottle, 30ml bottle. Which one do you get? Depends on how much you vape, how much you want to mix. I get 50 of them at a time, so that I can throw them away, I can give them away. You can even put makeup and stuff like that in them. They're dirt cheap, they only cost pennies. Them are a little bit dearer, you've got to mix more in it, so until you've got your technique right and your quantities, use a 10 mils. In this video I'm going to be mixing 10 mils of the skunk. You're going to need something to measure it out with. Syringes. Get a load of them. Again, they're dirt cheap. Get a... Where's it gone? I've lost it. There it is. Get yourself a various range of sizes, because as you'll see later on, some of them we're only using less than a milliliter of nicotine and flavouring. Some of them we're using 4-5 millilitres of dilutants, your PG and your VG. Also, if you're mixing different flavourings, you don't want the flavourings mixing over. So you don't want apple in your blueberry and vanilla in your custard or whatever. So get a few of them. They're disposable, they're cheap. If you are frightened of needles, you're going to stab yourself, then those who are nervous, please turn away. That's a 1 milliliter syringe. They're blunt. Same with the liquids, keep them away from your kids. With enough force you can put a pencil into someone. This is, like I say, and I'm using some force on that. Yes, it hurts me, but it's not sticking in, look. It's blunt. So they are relatively safe. They're not sharp. So you don't have to be very careful when you're sticking it into your bottle. So, right, that's about it. We're going to go down below and I'm going to show you a little piece of software. Because it makes it a hell of a lot easier to mix all your different quantities. So, let's go downstairs because I need a vape and I need to mix some liquid. Catch you later. Down we go. Right then, first off, you're going to need a calculator to mix your various quantities. You can find them internet based. This one's a particular app I've got on my phone, and I'm just going to quickly run you through it. This is how easy it is. To start with, on this particular app, you put in your nicotine solution. You can pick it up there. You've got your milligrams per milliliter, and you've got whether it's a PG or VG based. So you can go from 100% VG to 100% PG, or anywhere in between. Further down, you've got your flavourings, so you can add multiple flavourings, you can mix a right cocktail in it. How much percentage you want to do. The one I'm using, they recommend 5 to 20%. I'm going to mix it at 6% because I found that's quite a nice vape on that one. And again, down this side you've got your PG and your VG. The one I'm using is 100% PG propylene. The other ones I'm not going to be using. Coming further down, your target nicotine that you want. This one I'm doing at 6 milligrams. I'm going to mix 10 milliliters, and I want to do a 50-50 ratio of it. If you want a 70-20, 70-30 or a 30-70, 60-40, you just adjust that, and then right at the bottom it will tell you everything there. So if I hit calculate, there it's telling me the quantities that I'm going to need of all the different ingredients. So I've got my pure VG or aqueous VG 4.17. My screen's back to front. My nicotine, I'm going to be putting in 0.83 of a milliliter. That's why you need your different size syringes. So look at me flavouring, 0.6, 0.44, and if you was mixing other flavourings, then you'd need a syringe for each one of them. And again, if you're mixing 30 milliliters, then these are going to go up. That's going to be into like 15. Yeah, it's going to be about 14, 15 if you were mixing 30 milliliters. So just bear that in mind. Don't get a 1 milliliter syringe, because you'd end up using it 5 times for that one, 5 times for that, and you'd have to wash it out. So get yourself various syringes. Bit of a change of plan. I've just had a friend contact me, and he wants some liquid off me, so I'm going to be doing Golden Tobacco, not the original one. He wants 4 milligrams, still at 6%, still at 50-50. So our quantities have changed slightly. So 0.56 nicotine, 4.44 VG, 0.4 PG, and 0.6 nicotine. So let's crack on, let's get them mixed up and show you how easy it is. One bottle, one flavour concentrate. I generally take the little spout off if I can. Take the little spout off, just makes it a little easier to get your syringe in. So this one we need 0.6 of a milliliter. Point 0.6. In we go. Put that to one side. Top back on. Next is the PG, and we're going to use 4.4 of that. Next one is the glycerin. Again, a fresh syringe. And we're looking at 4.44. 4.44. And that goes. Next thing is the nicotine. We will be requiring 0.56 of this. Now this is the stuff that you've got to be careful with. So looking at 0.56. Now because this is the expensive stuff, if you mess up your quantities earlier and you end up throwing it away, it doesn't cost you a lot, but that stuff is expensive per milliliter. So always put it in last. There you go. All that's left to do now is pop the top on, or spout, put your top on, give it a good shake, get it all mixed up, and good idea, label it up of the flavour, milligrams, when you mixed it, and your PG, VG, because if you've got more VG in it, gives you more vapour. If you've got more PG, gives you more flavour, but less vapour. A little bit more of a hit with PG, and it's always a good idea to steep it. Various methods of steeping, if you want to check those out on the internet, but we want to go back up top now and do the wind up of the review. There we go, that's how easy it is to mix your nicotine. what I will say is, once you've finished with all your equipment, give them a thorough cleaning out, dry them and put them away safe. As you saw at the beginning, they are blunt needles, but you can still injure yourself or take care with them. Be responsible. If you do decide to mix your own, you'll save yourself a lot of money. Depending on the quantities that you get, depends on how much you save. The more quantity, the more saving that you'll get. So give it a try. You can experiment with it as well. Once you get into it, mixing your different flavours, mixing your strengths. So try it. I'm going to edit this, then get to the next video, which is the cherry Bakewell. Let me just have a vape on that. That's heaven. So right, I'm going to wind this video up. I'm going to get to this cherry Bakewell. So I'll catch you in the next review, which, like I say, hopefully this cherry Bakewell. Stay safe, and I'll catch you later.